Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Cody Proctor. Let's get started tonight with new details this evening. Spokane police continue to investigate a shooting in northwest Spokane from earlier this week. Now, KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk's learning more about the young victim who was shot.
Court documents reveal that shooting victim was a pregnant 17-year-old girl. She was shot in the leg and taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police responded Tuesday just after 8 p.m. near Garland Avenue and Nettleton, several blocks south of Glover Middle School. Court documents say the 911 caller heard 12 to 15 gunshots. Police ended up finding 19 shell casings at the scene. The 17-year-old victim, who is 9 months pregnant, was shot in the lower leg. She told officers she didn't see the shooter and didn't know who would have a reason to shoot her, according to a search warrant filed in Spokane Superior Court. Now, it's unclear if police have any suspects at this point, but so far, no one has been arrested. Reporting in Northwest Spokane, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Kyle, thank you so much. Also new tonight, a man accused of shooting his mom and stepdad this summer has been found competent to stand trial. 22-year-old Charlie Berkland faces 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Court documents say he shot his parents following a heated argument inside their South Spokane home. During a jailhouse interview with KREM 2 back in August, Berkland said he regrets everything that happened. His trial scheduled to begin November 13th. He faces a maximum sentence of life in prison if he's convicted. Still developing tonight, more vandalism reported in the Perry district. Watch this Ring doorbell camera footage. It shows a person wearing a mask walking up the steps of the front porch of Paul Dillon, a candidate for Spokane City Council District 2. And you can see them ripping down the pride flag and then running away. That wasn't the only place vandalized. Wishing Tree Books was also one of several homes and businesses vandalized early this morning. Owner Janelle Smith shared with KREM 2 about how she felt as she arrived this morning only to see the vandalism.
Not angry so much as just sad and worried for people, right? And especially for the kids of Odyssey. Like, this is their happy place and their safe place, and it's starting not probably to feel that way to them, and the neighborhood will never let them down. Like, we all have each other's backs.
Police stopped by the vandalized homes and businesses. They're currently investigating. Spokane police said earlier this week they're not investigating the vandalism as hate crimes. No word yet from them if that's changed. Developing tonight, Kaiser Permanente Washington workers will strike if a new contract isn't approved in the next 2 weeks. That's despite a tentative deal reached on a national Kaiser contract. Kaiser Permanente Washington workers have a separate contract that expires October 31st. If a deal isn't reached on the state contract, 3,000 workers across Washington will strike November 1st. They say the national deal doesn't adequately address a healthcare wage gap here in Washington.
Other employers have stepped up and given raises to healthcare workers in the last year. The current Kaiser Permanente workers are between 20 to 30% behind right now. They cannot afford to wait 4 years to get the 20%.
About 99% of Kaiser's Washington union members voted to authorize the strike. And new tonight, hundreds of REI workers are being laid off as the outdoor recreation company makes changes to stores. REI says about 275 store workers were laid off yesterday. That's just over 2% of the company's store employees, including right here in Spokane. REI says it's updating staffing models, which are a decade old. The announcement comes after corporate layoffs earlier this year. The company says it does plan to hire more than 1,000 workers for the holiday season. In a statement, a union representing some workers said, quote, REI made the callous decision to lay off tenured staff even while they are still hiring new staff at lower wage rates. The union continued to say the company is, quote, required by law to negotiate and reach an agreement with the union over this major change in working conditions. We reached out to the Spokane REI store tonight, who said they've been impacted by these layoffs but could not provide any further details. We could be seeing the return of widespread rain this week. Meteorologist Michelle Bosch joining us in the Weather Center tonight to give us a peek at the forecast tonight.
It's not actually looking like a lot of rain, mainly just a few sprinkles, especially tomorrow night. That would be our best chance to see some wet weather. But we are going to have to deal with some cloud cover at some crucial times, which of course is during that eclipse tomorrow morning. Temperature-wise won't be too bad. Cloud cover is moving in tonight. That's going to keep our overnight lows from dropping too much. We're at 53 right now in Spokane. Expect us to bottom out in the mid-40s overnight and early tomorrow morning. But you can see the clouds thickening up. There's also some wet weather on the west side. The most I think we're going to get out of any wet weather would be a few sprinkles early tomorrow morning, but actually the trend will be for those clouds to start breaking up right around the middle of the morning. So keep your fingers crossed. We may be able to see part of that eclipse, especially when it's at its maximum coverage. The weekend forecast looks like this. Temperature-wise, not too bad. Mid-60s on Saturday and Sunday, and should be a dry day on Sunday.
Thanks so much, Michelle. Let's go now to Night Beat for a quick look at the day's top stories. In North Idaho, the Shoshone County Jail failed its last inspection and lost its certification. This inspection found the jail was severely overcrowded more than 80% of the time. Our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press report the jail is only supposed to hold 48 inmates, but they sometimes have had to have more than 60 inmates there. The jail is also dealing with staffing issues. They have 4 open positions for corrections officers right now. Next month, the state of Idaho will put to death its longest serving death row inmate. A judge issued a death warrant for 73-year-old Thomas Creech. He's been on death row for more than 40 years. Officers arrested Creech back in the 70s for murdering 2 men while he was hitchhiking from Lewiston to Donnelly. He calls himself a serial killer and confessed to dozens of murders across the western United States. He's set to be executed November 8th after the state says they obtained the chemicals for lethal injection. And staying in Idaho, today marks the end of the 10-day treatment in the water to take out the invasive quagga mussel from the Snake River. Idaho Fish and Game says, as expected, fish are dying as a result of the treatment. The agency says the majority of the fish they're finding are northern pike minnow and common carp. Officials also found around 23 dead sturgeon. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, head to our website, KREM.com. Now to our top national story tonight. House Republicans now backing Representative Jim Jordan after Majority Leader Steve Scalise dropped his bid to become Speaker. Any candidate needs to win a majority of the entire House to be elected Speaker, which is 217 votes. Members have been told to go home for the weekend, which Republicans hope to use to build more support. Congress has been without a Speaker since last week.
I don't remember that called me last night, which I think we have. So we will go to the conference and talk with our colleagues. But I feel real good about my side.
House Democrats are expected to nominate and vote unanimously for Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. That means Republicans can only have 4 members vote opposite of the rest of their caucus in order to have their candidate get the votes necessary.